And welcome back, everyone, here in the top left-hand corner of the map. It is Entombed Valley. It's going to be InSur as our pink Protoss player. And his opponent down here at the bottom right, our green Zerg player from the team Evil Geniuses, the one and only IdrA.
Yeah, and Entombed Valley really is a great strategic pick, too, from Infinity7 because it takes it away from Thorzane. And I think that's a big thing, too, is that Thorzane's style in a lot of matchups tend to excel on a map like Entombed Valley. So if they use it in a PvZ against IdrA and take it away from like Thorzane specifically, I'm thinking of, but there are other players like the Muslim that would benefit greatly from this map as well. That's just all around good. So we'll have to see what InSur has planned for this map. Like you said, 3-base can be very strong. There's not a whole lot that IdrA can do about it, but that is still going to be, you know, his primary focus, I think, is trying to deal with that third base that InSur will want to take very quickly.
Well, I don't know. This is interesting, though. InSur showing a pylon here. Now, normally you would drop a pylon. If you're looking for that 3-base play, you drop a pylon out here, full wall off this big ramp. But what he's telling me right now is that he wants to start Forge expanding around this path, maybe cut off this right here, which is going to expose those rocks. If he does it, it makes it much harder for a Protoss player to go after that, that quick third base. So now InSur could certainly just drop down a Forge right here and put down a second pylon and continue the wall along this way. Yeah. But that still tells me he's maybe thinking a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah, it certainly could be. I mean, another thing that it could do is confuse IdrA a little bit if like you said, he wants to put a second pylon down in a place where he can sort of wall off in a normal way. That may throw IdrA off a little bit. Excuse me. Remember, StarCraft 2 is a game, of course, of trying to limit the information that your opponent has. So any way you can mislead them, trick them a little bit, will definitely help you win some games. IdrA not messing around at all. He wants to get that hatchery down. Oh, but there's the pylon, and immediately the drone heading for that third base now.
Yeah, so he's going to start making his way up. We'll see how.
Or maybe not.
Chasing down the probe for now. Okay, now it turns around. Make sure he got it far enough away. I mean, it's kind of cool, too. You'll see a lot of players. Oh, it got canceled.
Yeah, he canceled it because he wanted to get his Nexus down.
Did he put the pylon in a little bit too far? Was it actually inside of the range of the hatchery? I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I think it still blocked it. I think he just canceled it. We do see Protoss players cancel quite a bit.
And
yeah, so it's not, that wouldn't be too surprising at all if that's what the case was, that he wanted to get the Nexus down, wanted to get his cannon and pylon down as well. But at any rate, IdrA shouldn't be really too held back in his 3 expansions.
And forget everything I said before as well, because InSur, like I mentioned, my caveat, my out was that if he dropped a pylon off to the right, that he could go right back into that full wall up at the front. And that looks like, yes. And that, well, him as well with Photon Cannon. But it looks like, I know, he will indeed be playing a little bit longer game.
Yeah, that's true. But IdrA, you know, I don't believe he's actually scouted over there quite yet.
No, he is not. He's waiting on this Overlord to make it out.
Yeah, but if he had gotten there with an early drone scout, that would have been something that would have crossed his mind. As it is, it will be a fast 3 hatchery from IdrA, very standard in ZVZ right now, getting up to about 40-ish drones around there, and then throwing down gas, going for lair, and either maxing out on roaches or going to some sort of higher tech. You know, I feel like on this map, the best answer that Zergs have kind of come up with is just going for Broodlords extremely quickly. That seems to be what we've been seeing Zergs win with a lot. Going for that Roach Max on this map is very difficult. You have to attack up a ramp if you want to do something like that. And if you can't really do damage with it, then your whole Roach thing isn't really, you know, worth it. You're going to be behind on tech. So generally we do, see that very fast hive from Zergs on this map.
Well, IdrA, of course, deciding, you know, see a lot of players that go for that 3-base no gas, like you said, and wait for about 30, 40 supply, something like that, before they ever decide to move up to gas. IdrA, on the other hand, though,
a little bit earlier,
puts down that first gas very early on, just saving up for that Zergling speed and then pulling off of it. So wants to make sure that he incorporates in some very fast Zerglings at the beginning of this.
Well, you can certainly defend with just Zerglings and Spines on this map if you want to go for something like Mutas. You've got 2 ramps. Ramp in front of each of your bases, actually, so with like 4 or 5 spines at those, you excuse me, wow, you can certainly handle it, so that could be kind of what he has in mind. We'll have to see. Oh, but a Stargate from InSur, okay.
Very interesting. So, well, we'll see how quickly it takes for IdrA to pick up on this. He's already got this Overlord in the perfect position to pick up on gas 3 and 4 from a Protoss opponent. It's about this time, if they're heading for super high tech, you'd usually see gas 3 and 4 being added. But for now, we'll see if InSur is going to do that or just, okay, there we go. That's gas number 3, and just going to sit on that for now.
Yeah, well, if he's planning on just doing a single Stargate, he could probably get away with 3 gas, I suppose, but he's not going too terribly crazy with this. It looks like it might be... Oh.
Yep.
He's going to micro better. It looks like IdrA doesn't need to micro. His Zerglings just go ahead and take that out. So it looks like there's going to be +1 along with this for Insur. So could see that Void Ray Zealot composition that has been so strong, and there's a Void Ray right away from Insur. So yeah, I'd say that's a distinct possibility at this point. Yeah,
4-gate Stargate is a classic way to put on pressure at the beginning as a Protoss player against a Zerg opponent. Now, of course, this is a very large map. It's going to take an awfully long time for those to actually make their way out. So we'll see if IdrA is going to... Is he rallied to be able... Okay, well, at least he does see the Stargate. Now, is he rallied to pick up on the forward pylon? Yeah. No, he's not, so...
Well, he might do a little bit more scouting. We'll have to see if he catches it a little bit later. He is also getting 1-1, and he's putting the emphasis on +1 carapaces, which is what a lot of Zergs like to do in this case, just because, and he does scout the 2 gases with his Overlord too, so he does know. And the Void Ray also kills his Overlord, so that will give him a good indication that there are Void Rays out on the map.
Usually, yes.
Yeah. But the +1 carapace is going to be so helpful against those +1 Zealots. That's going to be great. Oh man, did everybody get Boba?
Yes, they did actually, so...
That's just mean.
I didn't.
We have to sit here watching them drink it.
I know. Everyone in the IPL office. So bad-mannered. So bad-mannered. Yeah, our producer actually stepped out. So if something technically went wrong, we would die.
We have the hardest job. It's rough. This is a rough life that we live.
Well,
people don't know.
That's okay. At least these +1 Zealots.
These Zerglings might know a little bit about a rough life here soon, but they will have +1 carapace soon.
That is very true. Phoenix buffering a few shots. It looks like, oh, he's just going to make his way in against the Queens. The Queens are not firing on any of the air units, so one of these Queens is actually going to fall pretty quickly. The +1 Zealots just chewing their way through those Zerglings as well. One Queen does go down. Yep. A second getting picked off from the side. The Queen's not making their way out quite yet. Oh, and the Zealots do snag another Queen kill. That's very big in this scenario. As the Void Ray finishes another one as well. Yeah,
that makes it very difficult. There are Spore Crawlers up on the way, but those Zealots are just absolutely tearing through the Zerglings. The upgrades did not finish in time, and IdrA is in serious trouble here.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he can do from here on out. But as you mentioned, that was actually a Spine Crawler, which was was going down there. But another Spore Crawler trying to make its way out. This one is going to fall to that fully charged up Void Ray. That Void Ray will actually have to get out of here soon, though, because now it has a couple of Queens firing on it. One more Queen actually does go down. In fact, there's only 2 Queens out on the field at all.
Oh, and IdrA needs to pull that Queen back a little bit. There we go. And this Queen is in trouble now. You know, overall, wow, the Void Ray. Oh, the Void Ray gets taken out by the Queen. IdrA suddenly gains an extra life in this game.
Yes, he does. So
that was huge that he was able to take out that Void Ray right there.
Now let's take stock. How many workers went down? Not many. He didn't take any pressure on the hatchery. He just lost Queens, but he was overmaking those to begin with. So we'll see what he can do from here on out. Already going up to his infestation bits. You kind of mentioned very fast upgrades, very high tech on this map. Looks like IdrA may be staring that path down. Third base coming up for Insur, though. He has a fair number of gateway units, but he will have to find some sort of answer for this very large gap up at the front.
So the question is right now, what is the worker count for both players?
Well, let's find out. There you go.
64 drones. Okay, so IdrA a little bit lighter on drones than he would like to be at this point in the game. But he has managed to take control back of the map again. The Phoenixes can scout a lot, but can't really do a whole lot about what they see, other than just kind of radio home and be like, hey, I saw another hatchery, like that one go down. And IdrA, going for drops. I like this. Will we see a Baneling nest potentially with this as well?
Could possibly. We'll find out in just a bit. Looks like he's going to go back to taking out these destructible rocks. They do fall so much quicker with any attack upgrades for Zerglings. It is kind of ridiculous.
Did he get Overlord speed quite yet?
I don't believe so, but let me check.
Oh,
no, he did not.
I wonder if that's a mistake then. Because, I mean, normally you don't want to get Overlord drops without Overlord speed first. Even though they did buff the speed, it's not that much. So I wonder if that was maybe a misclick on IdrA's part. We'll have to see if he uses it or not.
And Insur's going to play very nice and safe. We do have Pathogen Glands most of the way finished, so our first 6 Infestors are popping out now for IdrA. And he does have the option to move over to Hive Tech as quickly as he would like. So so Queens are in pretty good numbers. His worker count up to 82 now, so his economy is certainly well developed. So IdrA playing very, very well. Insur, though, is at that very dangerous 3-base Protoss level, and it's going to be very difficult for IdrA to try and break this position, especially with the Colossi and the Archons being added.
Yeah, he's just starting to saturate that third base now, so economically IdrA's still got a bit of a lead, and there's the Spire. The Colossi are already out, though, so the danger is that the Spire is coming a little bit too late. We'll see kind of what happens with that, but IdrA definitely in a bit of a tricky situation here. I mean, look at how active he's being around on the map with the Zerglings. It's good to do, but on a map like this, on Entombed Valley, you can't really do a whole lot with him. Protoss isn't going to take a fourth base anytime soon. They don't need to, right? So IdrA's just kind of waiting, trying to take his own stuff, and yeah, he is getting that Overlord speed now. And so he will have both of those, but it doesn't really look like he was planning on using drops unless he's going to do like Zergling drops on the main or something like that. But I've got a feeling that was maybe a little bit of a miskey from IdrA. Oh, that's not a mistake at all, though, except for one by INSUR, letting those Phoenixes get taken down. And
whoa, that is
really Fungal.
Ballsy. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
well,
so Spire's just about to finish up. 18 Banelings are on the way. Pneumatized Carapace going to finish up as well. So, yeah, he is going to move into that very, very aggressive Baneling drop stage. There's finally Hive Tech coming up as the Spire does finish up.
When did he put down that Baneling nest?
Not sure.
I thought we looked for that earlier.
Well, he's got one.
He's got one now. All right.
That's
well,
true.
That makes a lot more sense then.
Ooh, Neural Parasite already being started. I love that.
Well, he's going for Hive very quickly. He wants to think about that late game. And if there's going to be a mothership, he's going to want to Neural Parasite it.
I like this approach. You kind of mentioned, you want to take head-on that huge late-game Protoss army, so you find more creative ways to do it rather than just kind of trying to poke and prod and hope up until that point. So IdrA already on 4 bases. He's got a very good economic position. He's still sitting on, 96 drones. Good mother of God. A lot of economy sitting there, though.
All right, well, not a huge stalker count here, so these Overlords should be able to survive to get their payload there. The Infestors moving in as well. If they can get a Fungal, that is going to be huge.
And let's see, there it is.
The Fungals.
All right, well, the Overlords dropping on top. None of them have died yet.
Oh, wow.
Banelings raining down. The Colossi falling very, very quickly. Most of the meat of the Zerg army has gone down. These Zerglings are slackers. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I guess IdrA just proving he doesn't even need those units.
That army was absolutely crushed by IdrA. The Fungals were great. INSUR, putting some pressure on that 4th base, but it looks like he may be able to take out those Zealots in time. Yeah, he certainly will. IdrA making a ton of Lings, making those Infestors, getting a 2nd Spire, and his Greater Spire is going to be going into very heavy air upgrades, but killing that army just gives him so much breathing room. It's great. And now, INSUR's going to need to be very careful. He's going to need to worry about his probes getting Baneling dropped. Yeah, he's going to need to pay very close attention to his bases from now on.
Surprise, no storm has been started throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
INSUR, though, is finally going to be working off of 4th base. A few units got fungled in the middle. The Zerglings tried to put on some pressure, but unfortunately against those very well upgraded Zealots, +3 upgrades, I might add, in the attack, so they still will two-shot those Zerglings. And the Colossus and Archon sitting back there, the Zerglings weren't really going to do much. So IdrA backs up. He's starting to spread his creep through the middle of the map, reinvesting back into his Spinecrawler defense as well, and starting to whittle down the number of workers as he adds on Corruptors in preparation for Broodlords.
Yeah, killing that army was just such a big thing for IdrA here. He's got all the time in the world now to prepare for this. He's going to need to worry about these little Zealot run-bys, but that's not a huge concern right now at this point. And will he be ready to take on this other army? That's the question. It's not looking terribly scary right now, but
no,
we will see.
And those Zealots really aren't going to accomplish all that much. He does scout the 5th base, which is very nice, though, I will admit, but loses a few Zealots there in that attempt to backstab. Now, finally, Psionic Storm is being researched, so he will have that very well-developed late-game army. Has a Stargate down, but I've not seen a fleet beacon quite yet, so no threat of Mothership on the way quite yet.
IdrA looks like he wants to get a bit aggressive here. He's forcing INSUR back a little bit. INSUR obviously not really wanting to attack until Storm is done. I mean, if he attacks before that, then he's got a good chance of the same thing happening to him that happened last time, getting fungled, getting surrounded, getting taken out. But with Storm, that's going to really kind of marginalize the effect that these Zerglings are going to have. Looks like IdrA might have to cancel that 5th, but
yeah,
we will see.
He's going to take out his opponent's 4th, though, potentially, so we'll see if he can. Oh, Neural Parasiting a couple of the Archons. The Archons starting to turn on their own units. The High Templar finally feedbacking the Infestors, but a very nice job with that Neural Parasite. He is able to take control of the Archons for a good period of time.
He's got to run, though. He's going to lose all these Infestors.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately, those Infestors waddling off of creep. Looks like he will indeed lose that 5th base at the same time and wasn't able to take out his opponent's 4th. fourth.
He's got 4 Broodlords on the way, but he did lose a good amount of Infestors in that engagement. Now his opponent is kind of breathing down his neck here. It's a lot of Broodlords on the way, but will they get there soon enough? IdrA is in a great spot right now because his opponent will just not have a lot of Stalkers. That's the big thing they need to worry about. The Fleet Beacon is only now starting, so Mothership won't be an issue for IdrA either. And even if one does hit, he does have Neural Parasite. IdrA in a great position again in Game 2.
Oh, wow, and he's able to take out the Templar before they really did any damage to the Broodlords. Just took out a handful of Zerglings there, so very, very well done. Fleet Beacon, as you mentioned, is about halfway finished now, so Mothership's still not going to arrive for another 4 or 5 minutes in game, and that could just be too late, especially as IdrA is maxed once again, re-expanding to that 5th. Looks like he was intending to take that 6th. Yeah, we already see the shadow of the hatchery on top of it.
IdrA making a bit of a small mistake there, not having any Corruptors to deal with the Phoenixes. I feel like he would have wanted to move outright then, but he didn't have anything to kind of keep them safe, and he didn't want to use his Infestor energy on that yet. So now that the Corruptors are out, I think we're going to see him be a little bit more aggressive here. If he can kill this 4th base, he will be in great shape, but he needs to engage just very carefully. It's still a dangerous Protoss army.
Yes, it is, but it looks like he is going to force a cancel on that Nexus, or at the very least, it's going to be very far down. Now finally the Broodlords are making their way up. This one Corruptor trying desperately to do whatever damage he can against the Broodlords. It would take an eternity for that to happen. It looks like INSUR is going to lose 2 bases at the same time, forced to cancel that 5th, and going to straight up lose his 4th.
Yeah, INSUR might just decide to go for a counterattack here, and once IdrA kills the 4th, he's going to pull back. In fact, just letting the Zerglings do the work. Oh, he leaves it alive. All right.
Now, he's got a few Zerglings still working on it.
Sorry. Leave some. All right.
Oh, good fungal growth, pinning a lot of units in place. That allows the Broodlords to catch up, and that's all the time that they need. The Storm kind of whiffs. Doesn't hit that many Zerglings. Admittedly, the Archon's even still alive as well. So the Colossi are really all that's left as far as meat of the army. That's not enough Blink Stalkers to get underneath that amount of Broodlords.
Probably not. Yeah, IdrA still has a decent supply count. He's also getting 2/2 for his air upgrades as well. INSUR isn't out of it completely just yet, but he is in dire straits. He basically needs to win with the next army that he makes here. If he doesn't do that, then he's just not going to be able to keep up with IdrA. He's having a lot of trouble already. Yeah,
his economy is just non-existent. I know it looks like IdrA's economy is low, but he's transferring a lot of drones over to his various different bases. Yeah, we can see more starting to make their way over to the 5th and 6th now. So IdrA's economy is still quite impressive. He's banking resources. He's got a ton of Broodlords on the ground, 14 of them as a matter of fact. 1/1 upgrades just for the Broodlords themselves, so Broodling Strike is that much stronger. And then, of course, the Broodlings themselves are at 3/3. So
the Banelings added in as well. I mean, we can talk for a moment about just how big this match really is for IdrA. I mean, everyone's talking lately about, the slump that he's in. Will he come back? His attitude towards everything. But then to come out and play games like this in Team Arena Challenge, I think is really going to bolster a lot of the IdrA fans' morale out there. I mean, he's played great both these games already. So, are we seeing a bit of a turnaround for IdrA here in this match?
Well, he certainly played very, very well, as you mentioned. Now, he is still going to go up against a maxed Protoss army with a Mothership in tow. Still 33 seconds away, though, until Vortex pops up. IdrA losing a few Banelings there, replenishing that supply with Infestors. So, maybe not the worst thing in the world.
Infestors are nice.
2/2 upgrades, about ready to finish up for those air units as well, and those Broodlords are just going to be impossibly strong.
Yeah, there's that nice little area there where there's kind of the cliff that you see just at the top of your screen there. If he floats the Broodlords over there, he can really put a lot of pressure on the 4th base without needing to worry about Stalkers blinking under him or anything like that.
That's right, and it looks like he is going to start that attack. INSUR going to come around from behind. The Mothership will have a Vortex ready. Looks like he's decided he's done enough damage, and he's going to back up now to deflect this army, making its way through the middle of the map. Both players are maxed, of course. IdrA going to be able to replenish his army much faster than his opponent.
Feedbacks. Oh, man.
Feedbacks are very good. Just got off one fungal growth there and wasn't able to take control of the Mothership with Neural Parasite.
Yeah, 1 fungal for 3 Infestors didn't work out terribly well for IdrA. He needs to be very, very careful. He doesn't want to let his units get trapped. You're nice spreading on the Broodlords, too.
Yeah, very well done.
To avoid Vortex. Great job there.
Oh,
and
wow.
Here comes the Mothership. Where's the Neural Parasite? Oh, we almost got it with the Infestor, but there's a Vortex. Everything goes in. The Archons go in as well, and those Broodlords are running for their lives.
Yeah, the Broodlords are running for their lives. A few of those are going to fall down. Looks like IdrA actually going to give up on a couple of them. Let's see if he comes back. Yeah, he will start doing damage. But look, the Zerglings have killed the 4th, and they're continuing to move in and do damage. Whoa! Broodlords all disappear, and more are going to fall now. So IdrA going to need to replenish this army, but I still believe that he has has the decisive advantage in this game because of how quickly he can replenish everything he has. Look at that, 10 more Corruptors, 5 more Broodlords coming up now.
Yeah, he's still doing just fine. I mean, he's got a lot of Lings along with this as well, but really killing that 4th base is what's kind of giving him the confidence to stay in this. But, oh man, it's going to be so close.
Yeah,
he needs a lot of spines too. I think I'd feel much more comfortable with that.
Yeah, he does, but now finally gets those Broodlords up off to the side, starting to whittle down the Stalker numbers. The Mothership is still up, but falling very quickly to the Corruptors. Corruptor numbers are getting whittled down as well. Overseer tried to float overhead to allow the units to do a bit of damage, but now Insur has fallen down to 118 supply in the Mothership.
What's the hell in the Mothership? It does go down. IdrA taking out the Mothership, and only Colossi and Archons really left in that army. A couple Gateway units, but not a whole lot to really speak of there. And look at Insur's money right now. This is it, man. I mean, unless he gets a 4th base up, this is all he's going to have. He needs to win with this, or he needs to GG. Those are kind of his options right now.
Yes, and that's never a fun option when the option is to GG. So
it's true, but one person has to do it every game.
That's true. Corruptors are going to pick off the Colossi pretty quickly.
That's a lot of damage on those Corruptors.
Yes, it is. Ouch. Wow, splash actually being taken there. But the Broodlords are in enough numbers that they can start pushing these Zealots back, and push them back they will, killing them. Another Mothership coming up as Insur is desperately trying to hold on to a 4th base.
Yeah, and that 4th base, I don't know, man. Even if it gets up at this point, IdrA just seems to be ready to do that push to end the game. I mean, you can just almost like feel it coming, right?
It's palpable.
Dogs are running around like crazy. The birds go quiet.
Yeah.
You know something's going to happen.
Horses are stamping. A storm is brewing, folks.
And that base, it does have to get canceled at the very end.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Well worth the Zerglings that ran by as well. Inter cleans up the map control in the middle there by Insur. So now he's sitting on 9 Broodlords with another 4 morphing in. So yeah, it's going to be a total of 13 here momentarily with 15 Infestors. And, wow, actually going to add to that Infestor count as well. So an incredibly powerful army.
Yeah, what does Insur do against something like this? I mean, if we look at his army right now, it's just Colossi, a couple Archons with Storm, and or a High Templar, rather, with Storm, and Archons thrown into that, but not very big Corruptor numbers, not very big Zealot numbers.
Right.
So IdrA just kind of having a lot of stuff. Long-distance mining is only going to cut it for so long for our Infinity 7 player.
He's got 41 larvae for now, and
he's ready, man.
Exactly. So when he eventually attacks with this, when the attack does come, he'll be able to replenish that so quickly.
You know, and look at how low IdrA's money is, and look at how many bases he's on too. I mean, definitely still, showing his talent as a macro Zerg for sure.
Oh, a lot of things died. No, I'm sorry. That's all. That was a lot of death there. But Broodlords are going to continue making their way out. Unfortunately, this Mothership is still sitting at just 81 energy, so not enough for a Vortex quite yet. And IdrA really can just kind of keep moving in here. Oh, good fungal on all the units that are exposed. Broodlords continuing to hit them, chain fungling those as a matter of fact. Yeah, there it is.
For a second.
Yeah.
GG from Insur anyway. That is about it. 100 supply ahead at the end there, and IdrA making another game.
Evil Genius is going up 2